I think I could learn a few things from a horse. Where I live, there are lots of horses. In fact, there are specifically horses that pull buggies, Amish buggies. So I get to see horses almost every day, which is something I like. And you've probably seen horses that sometimes they've got these things on the side of their horse face that's called blinders, right? And you've probably heard the phrase, you're going through life with blinders on, and that's a negative thing. But I think sometimes it's probably a good thing. And what I mean by that is the reason that that horse has blinders on is so they are focused. You know, they're only focused on what is ahead of them. And when people drive up to them in cars going fast or other distractions besides them, the idea is that they keep looking straight ahead, you know, and their focus is there, and they focus on their job. You know, they focus on carrying their passengers. So I think that having blinders on is not always a bad thing. And I was reminded of that last week. I went for a bike ride, a good long bike ride. And I was doing pretty well, and I actually went farther than I normally do, which is a good thing. And then at some point, it dawned on me that I had went pretty far and I had made good progress, but that I had to turn around and go back. I had to go all the way back from the distance that I had started. So I started that process. I turned around and started my way back, and I don't know, about maybe halfway on the way back, got tired, you know, and I kept looking at how far I had to go, you know, and I would get discouraged because I would see, man, I got a long ways to go and I'm pretty worn out. But I would put my head down and I would just look at my feet, and I would just look at the little bit of road in front of me, and I would see the revolution of the wheel, and just kind of seeing my legs, pedal, and just focus on a couple feet in front of me. And I was fine. You know, I thought, well, I can do that again. I can make the wheels turn again. I can go another couple feet. And when I did that, when my focus was there, I was okay. And then I would pick my head up and I would look at how far I had to go, or I would look at my little GPS map on my bike, and I would see that I still had a substantial amount of miles to go, and I would be discouraged. If I had my eyes down, I was okay. Picked my eyes up, I was discouraged. Last summer, I spent some time in California at a fitness camp, and at the time, well, it still is. It's one of the greatest accomplishments that I've ever been a part of. And one of the things that we did there was a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. And in California, compared to Indiana, there's a few more hills and mountains. And one of the things that we did towards the end of my trip was hike up this big hill. And it was a consistent incline hike. And I don't know what the number was, but I don't know, maybe 20%, 30%. It was a really steep incline. And it was towards the end of my trip, or my time there, and I was scared and nervous to do it, but also a little bit excited, you know, because it would be this great accomplishment that I could do. And so when it came time to do it, I went there and started walking up this hill. And at some point through there, I actually sent my wife a video, and it sounds like I am near death. You know, I am huffing and puffing pretty substantially, and my heart rate was like at 180 for like almost a half an hour, which is pumping pretty good there. And I had this mixture of feelings of, you know, hey, I'm on the verge of death here, I'm gonna die, but at the same time, I'm not dying. I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this challenge. I'm gonna make it. And I was probably 90% of the way through, and I knew that one of the ways we would know that we were at the end was at the top of this hill was a water tower. And the whole time I'm hiking, I couldn't see it, but I came around this kind of corner, and I wanted to look up to see how far I had to go. Now before this, again, similar to my bike story, I had my eyes down, my head down, and I'm just trying to focus of, hey, I can do one more step, I can do one more step, one more step, one more step. And I did that for quite a while. But towards the end, I raised my head and I looked up, and I looked to my right, kind of up the hill, and I saw the water tower, which you would think is a good moment. But when I look back on it, it was a terrible moment. And in that exact moment, I failed. I can look back at that moment in time, and in that exact moment, I failed that challenge. I lost the battle. I lost it. I lost it because what my brain did in that moment is I saw that water tower, and it was in my mind pretty far away. And in that moment, I said, I can't do it. Can't do it. There's no way I can make it that far. Instead of focusing with my eyes down and looking at just a couple little baby steps in front of me, I saw that water tower, and in my mind, it was like 1,000,000 miles away. There's no way I can get there. So what did I do? I gave up. I gave up. And I knew that there was this little rescue shuttle van thing that would come around and it would pick people up that couldn't make it. And so as I looked up, and it was almost instantaneous. I looked up to the right, I saw that water tower. My brain says, hey, you can never do that. And I stopped. I stopped and I let that van pick me up. It was pretty pathetic because it drove me to the top in like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something. So I was so close. I was so close to victory, but I took my eyes off the ground. I raised my eyes up, raised my head up, looked at the big picture instead of just the tiny picture in front of me, and I failed. And so I know that sometimes it's good for us to, to know where we're going and to see the prize and to aim for the prize and all that kind of stuff. That is good sometimes. But I also think sometimes that can get us in trouble because we think too much and we try to have too much perspective and we try to figure out too many things and we try to have the answers to everything instead of just keeping our eyes down and looking at the baby steps in front of us and saying, well, I can do that. I can walk another step. I can pedal my bike another revolution. I can do whatever. I can do this small thing. And so I think sometimes we need to keep our eyes down. And there's a saying that says something like, don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow has enough troubles on its own, right? But we get wrapped up in that. And I think sometimes we need to be like that horse with the blinders on, and we need to be like I was on that bike and keep my eyes down, and like I was on that hill and keep my eyes down. And sometimes that's the best thing for us. So I encourage you with that today. Maybe maybe you're trying to figure it all out, something that's enormous and huge, and maybe God is saying to you, hey, can you just make it another hour? Can you just make it through today? Can you just make it till the weekend? Those thoughts are a lot easier to comprehend than, man, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? What am I going to do the rest of this year? Maybe you just need to keep your eyes down and focus on something small.